China Über Alles is brought to you in part by Sushi Market Sprouts on 7th in Santa Cruz and Kaito in the Capitol Mall Food Court. Treat yourself to the finest Japanese cuisine you'll find anywhere with fresh sushi to go and delicious ramen dinners. Sushi Market Sprouts and Kaito. Yum! Welcome to another edition of China Über Alles. I'm Bill Graff, along with our guest, Nan Su, who's a senior reporter from the Epoch Times, and, of course, Amy Howe, who grew up in China and was there during the Cultural Revolution under Chairman Mao. That means that she is a survivor of the re-education camps in China. And we will be talking about some very interesting things that are going on in China. As we mentioned, we sort of alluded to it last week on the program about the fact that there are some very famous people in China, some big business tycoons and some well-known Chinese stars in the media who are quietly being erased from the internet. I don't know if they're being erased permanently, but they are being erased from the public view, which is very interesting to me. Let me say, first of all, welcome, Amy Howe. How are you today?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Terrific. It's a really nice day. It's about over 74 or 75 degrees here in Santa Cruz today. Hello there, Nan. How are you?
Yeah, it's pretty good. And folks, we have pretty excitement today, a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Now, except trying to make all these big stars disappear in China right now. China is also in a huge effort, try to push all these CEOs of private industries.
Right.
Push them out.
Well, think about it for a second. Here in the United States, right? Think about how difficult a task it would be to remove from the internet Elon Musk, for instance.
Right. Well, not only just push him out of internet, but also actually have him quit from his CEO position in Tesla. That's what's happening in China. Wow. So we're going to talk about that, and also there's a new research paper just came out. They found that the COVID virus, that's the Americans not only providing the funding for the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but also provide funding for Wuhan University Lab for the same research. So now, the focus point is not only to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but also to Wuhan University Lab. So what's going to happen? We don't know. I think at this moment it's better just to keep all the investigation going.
Oh, I completely agree with that. But first, before we do any, by the way, get your telephones handy. After we check in with Amy for her story, we will be taking phone calls. So the area code actually is 831. The telephone number, as you know by now, is 479-1080. But before we do anything else, it is time to check in with Amy Howe. Amy tells some of the best and horrifying at the same time stories I think I've ever heard in my life. And as I've mentioned, for those of us who grew up in the United States or in other parts of the Western world, we oftentimes can't fathom what Amy and Nan have actually gone through. Amy was sent to a re-education camp. She's told a bunch of stories about things that we can't even imagine. Anyway, Amy, we can't wait to hear your story today.
Okay. Recently, I think, China, what's going on is that they have this movement called the common prosperity. The other word is just redistribute the wealth. So that question was follow me from China and to United States. Because in here, I talked to people which was not the same view of me, and I would call it liberals. They were thinking, and the only way can solve the poor problems, poverty problem, is redistribute the wealthy. But my own experience in China, which we did again, and was draw the different conclusions. So right now I wanted to tell something about my own experience, and then let our audience to draw their own conclusions on the issues. Yeah, I was born 1952. So my mother always told me, said that my brother, one is 1947, one is in 1948. That time when they born, and they still able to buy some American formula in the milk powder that time, because that's before a communist took over. And so they have enough nutrition because my mother doesn't have their own and cannot breastfeed, then so had to have the formula. So they are okay relatively. So they are all bigger than me. So my mother always said that, when you were born, we cannot get any milk powder, and only thing can get is from is the milk. They give you one bottle, small bottle milk a day, and half diluted, put the water in. So that's the only thing you can have. So if you're still hungry or need more, so you make some rice soup. Just drink the rice soup. So that's how I grew up. And then from time to time, 1952 to 1962, and just something just getting worse and worse. All we see is the food. We use ration and those coupons, and like one family, you have 1 pound of egg for 1 year, for 1 month, and then a few ounces of meat for 1 month. And just getting worse and worse. Then even you have a coupon, you still have to get up. But my mother had to get up like at 3 o'clock in the morning to stand in line in the food market. And if you're late, even you have a coupon, you can't get anything. So basically, and when CCP took over 1949, and before that, of course, any society, you have people well-to-do, rich, what you call, but some was not well-to-do and poor, you call that. And but still, that time we don't have that kind of the big difference, and it's not just getting worse and worse. But the things they have this redistribute the wealthy. And then for a very temporary, very short period, and things work, because some poor people, they have nothing, so get something. But very quickly it's running out. So what's the matter with that? What's wrong with that? That question always follow me. And but when I grew up and went to 16 years old, went to the reeducation camp. And finally, I found the answer. The train, March 2nd, 1969, the train from Shanghai to Yunnan took 4 days and 3 nights. So when we approaching to the Yunnan province, it's all they call the 10,000 mountains, that area. And with all the very, very poor. You need the train, you need 2 engines, one in the front, one in the back, so you can go up in the mountains. And then we got there, we had to stop. And normally we stop just for us to get out of the train to get some water, and so you can drink. And at that station, we stop, and they just close all the window down. I don't know what's going on. Everybody is thirsty, had to get some water, but they said put the train, the workers, they come in, just shut down all the windows. probably just after shutdown, we saw hundreds, maybe thousands of kids just running up to the train. And they were so hungry, they want everything. I know what they knock in the window, everything. They want us to give some food or whatever. And I look at that. I never seen that kind of poverty. Even in Shanghai, and we have the food ration and use a coupon. I never see so many hungry people surrounded you. And they really, really poor. Why I say that is I had seen a lot of grow-up girls has no clothes. They just naked or half naked, use some leaves or something covered up. I just so scared. I never seen the sign before. I said, wow, this is our country? Because we've been brainwashed. The propaganda keep on telling us we are mouse children. We live in paradise. And we had to study hard, work hard to liberate the 2/3 of people in the world. So the propaganda described it to us, so we are the happiest people on the earth, and we have everything.
Hey, Amy, you know what?
Yeah.
Even today, I mean, if you go to North Korea, they are still telling their people the same thing, right?
Yeah. But at that time, we just say, we decided, they sometimes even show the picture in America, Chicago. I still remember I was a little girl and saying, some black people, kids were so hungry, or those pictures, they had no food, and some of those, in South of America, they hand up people, burn them or whatever, the KKK things. So that's why we all know. So I said, wow, how can we supposed to liberate the rest of the world? And
hey,
how
Amy.
our own country?
Yeah, Amy. As a matter of fact, I just finished to talk to some of my friends a few days ago. They still doing the same thing. They still giving you all the facts of how many people die in the United States because of COVID, but comparing with China, that nobody dying, or
the propaganda continues.
Yes, it never changed.
Yeah, nothing changed. Yeah, nothing changed. So they just then few minutes later, and the Liberation Army soldier coming, so chasing away all those hungry kids, just surrounded by the train. So we just started, but that was a shock to me, because we know, we are poor, we don't have enough food, but we still think we are better off than the rest of the world. But I didn't know, and part of our own country, people that poor, So we just, how can you believe what they told you, right? So just, a shock. So anyway, we got it to the Yunnan. I'm talking about so I was thinking, how do we can solve the problems? We redistribute the richer, so-called, and give it to the poor people. How can I have more and more poor people? Is that the way to solve the problem? I just keep the question in my own mind. I'm not afraid to say anything. And then we went to the re-education camp, and the people, so we supposed to re-educated by those presidents and villagers, and they are supporters one, they suppose the most, the best one, and they're loyal to the Communist Party. They are the one be trusted. That one had to educate us, So we had to visit them, to write down the story they told us, before the Communist Party took over, and how suffering they are by the landlords and the rich farmers. So that's supposed to be the story. So we're visiting those people. Now, by the way, I had to tell you something. Those are all the real things. And we live in the housing in this re-education camp supposed to belong to the village chief. It's a Thai village. And supposed to be the rich person. and they confiscated his house and also redistributed land to the farmers. So that's the building, they give it to us because it belongs to the government, right? So they give it to people. We are sent down kids, so we had to have a place to live. And that was, I think, that downstairs is large, have lots of posts, a large open kitchen, and also like a dining hall. So we were there to study Mao's book and to eat there, And then upstairs for there's a male student to stay. And we stay in the next door is a bamboo house, have a bamboo balcony, and we have a female student, so we live there. And that belonged to a rich farmer's house. They confiscated it and then give it, government owned it, so give us to live. And then we invited a couple of poor people and to tell us the story. And then one of you had to have a pair record, to one-on-one and face-to-face become a friend, so they can really educate us. So I got one woman, and because she speaks a little bit Mandarin, most speak Thai, so you have to learn Thai so we can communicate. But she speak because she's from other village, so we become a friend. So she told me lots of things. I'm able to ask her questions and what kind of life before and communist and what the life now, the difference. Because normally those people, they are very honest. They don't know how to lie. They just tell you what it is, right? So this woman told me, said that the reason they classify and she's a poor farmer because her village was burned down in another mountain area, and so the whole family just escaped there and coming to this Thai village. So that was before communists took over, 1950s, because the Yunnan province is like a peace negotiation and trading the territory with the Burma or something. So it took a place, not 1949, it took a while, 1956 or something, finally it concluded. So that village becoming and belong to China. Before, they only know they are Thai peoples. That's just Thai village. They belong to Burma or China. They don't know, So anyway, and this woman, she told me the reason she's poor and she doesn't own the land because the fire. So they come into this new village. And so I said, what did you do? He said, we have to make a living so that this village, they accepted them, and but they don't have land. So they had to first had to work for this landlord, which was the chief of the tribe. And so they hire them and working there and provide them and live in those shack, just to make it like a bamboo house kind of thing. So they temporarily live there for a couple of years. And then she was a young woman. So I'm talking about they moved that time with her parents, took the whole family, escaped from fire. And then eventually, so they getting a little better. So I say, how do those landlords treat you? Treat you like a slave or what? And he said, no, they just want us to work. We work, so they pay us, which was not the money, just the food and rice and other things. And so it's able to, I say, you always hungry or you have food to eat? They say, yeah, we have food to eat. Whole family, no problem. So a couple of years later, and getting better, so they're able to lease a land from that chief, and so they live with their own family. They build a little better house, bamboo house. They live there, and then they started working and on the land they leased. So if they work hard, they get more rice. So they just pay whatever the rent, and then rest of they can keep it. Or if more, they can sell it in the market. So basically, it's pretty free, and except that they pay the rent. I said that, so that time, because that the Thai village, is by the river and is a valley, was very rich, fertile land. So have 3 crops a year. And also surroundings, they have all kind of fruits. And like a papaya tree and mango and pineapple all over the place. And then banana trees. So it's like a paradise. You don't have to work too hard. You always have a food. So that was a pre-CCP. And then what's happened is after they redistributed the land to the farmer, soon after that, they established the organization called commune. So this commune is owned by the government. So everybody work for the commune. So no longer you privately own the land or you lease the land. Every land is belong to the state. It's just like a nationalized and those commune. So then the misery happened. And supposed to reduce, you redistribute the wealthy, so the landlord has no land, nobody rich, but they confiscate the rich people's properties, give it to the poor. They immediately took back and belong to the state. So you also belong to the state, everybody. You work for the state, the commune, and you are one of the member of the commune, and you had to work. And over there, is no, you cannot say, I'm sick, I call the sick leave or anything. You just can't. Because they checking on every day. So those are communist officers and put the people in different teams. So like that village, they have I stay with, they have 3 teams. So the ABC, and so they have the leaders is the communist officer. They don't work. They just managing those people, the slaves. So every morning, and they will call everybody's name and see anybody is not there. So they go to your house and pull you out. You say, I'm sick, I can't do it. Unless you're really dying. You just can't even stand up. Otherwise, you have to work. So that's what they are. So they work every day. There's no holiday, no nothing. And but they took 2/3 of the crop, the rice, and the leave them only probably can last about 5 months, not even 6 months. So what's happened to other 7 months? And you had to looking for anything in the wild, like roots and some wild fruits and the leaves or whatever. And so you cannot, before. And those people, they described it to me, say they are not rich, but they are very happy. They have enough food. They even have sticky rice to feed a pig. So they have a pig, they have a chicken, and they can trade those things in the market. Every week they have a market, and so it's pretty good life. And at the night, and they can dance, and the star use those drum. They call the elephant drum. So they play the drum, they dance, everything. And so it's very, very nice. Nobody really in the poverty and starving unless you don't work at all. So some people, they couple of people hooked up with opium. They don't work. And so they're very, very poor, But most of it, majorities, they all have their family. China doesn't matter what minorities, they are family oriented. Family is a base unit. So every family have a bamboo house, and also have a little garden. The garden is belong to you. You can plant vegetables, and you can have all the fruit trees, bananas, mangoes, papayas, So it's pretty good. Everybody have, little gardens. But after communists coming, you're not allowed to have your private garden. And you're not allowed to have your private vegetable and anything. So if they found out after work you're doing your private garden, and you will be arrested. At the night, they have this study mouse meeting conference every night, and they will criticize whoever they found out was doing the private garden. So those things are no more. And so people become very poor and hungry, and so some people have a lot of kids. Kids were hungry, so they wanted to feed the kids. So they just go to they make the temple, the Buddhism temple as like a storage room, and put all the rice there. So somebody at the night will go get some rice. Okay, now they be in big trouble. So we have this criticized meetings to hang those people on a tree and beat them up, and because they're stealing some rice. So that's what happens in China. Redistribute the wealthy. Right now they call some common prosperity. Basically suppress and the small business. And so to me, I come to a conclusion. Look at this: same place, same land, right? Same environment. Why before was rich and happy, and why after they becoming redistributed and becoming poor? It's not solve the poverties, actually create more poverties. This communism, this CCP, the principles. Now they're going to start over again and talking about because they feel the young people, they don't know anything about what happened before in China. So, yeah.
Sounds like a redistribution of poverty.
That's right.
Well,
so
it is
to me,
true.
Yeah, it is. I tell you, I went back to China first time I left in 1982. First time I went back to Hong Kong, 85, to meet my parents, because at the time I left, we still have not much food, And I was a short stay in Canton for about a day. And then and I went to the market. I was shocked because I never seen have a meat and the vegetables and fruit, fresh fruit, everything selling in the market freely. Mm-hmm. Nobody standing in line. I was shocked. I never seen that before the time I was living in China,
Amy, you're not the first person who said that to me. I have some friends who live in a fairly poor country, and when they first saw Safeway, they couldn't believe it. Yeah. They really couldn't.
Yeah, supermarket, I almost fainted, I tell you. And they tell me how many ice cream we can have, the choice. I said, really?
Yeah.
And you have a choice for ice cream? Wow, we only have ice, no cream.
Oh my God!
The town in China. Yeah, true.
Well, once again, your story, for those of us who did not see it firsthand, it is difficult to hear. But Amy, we've talked for quite a while now with you, and we know that what you're saying is the story that's been repeated many hundreds of thousands of times by other people coming from the CCP. So we know that what you're saying is true, and I can only imagine how you felt, when the train pulled into the water stop and you peeked out the window and saw the children who didn't have anything to eat. I can't. That's just wow. That's pretty horrible. Well, anyway, we're going to talk about how people are, at least on the internet, are disappearing. and how even rich people are having their companies, they're being, I guess, told or strongly asked to resign from their own companies. There's a lot of stuff going on in China, a lot of stuff in the news, and also there's also the part of the story that Nan mentioned at the beginning of the show about the fact that not only did we help the Wuhan Institute of Virology, we also apparently helped another school in Wuhan to do the same type of research, all with American money. Anyway, if you would like to participate in our program today, it's really quite simple. There's only a few numbers you have to remember. Those are 831-479-1080. 479-1080 is the number. Nan, where do you want to start today?
Yeah, let's talk about, you talk about the disappearance. We kind of mentioned it in the last program.
Well, there's a very famous, and I wish I could pronounce her name, but I honestly can't. She's a very, very, very famous actress. She's been around for quite a while. She has made very many movies. She has made a pile of money, and she is really quite wealthy. Gone from the internet.
Well, her name, her famous internet name is Ge. Ge means a prince. Prince, because she played a character in a TV series. That's how she became famous. She playing a character in the TV series as a Qing Dynasty, some sort of a prince, right? So now.
But she's gone. She was there one day, and 2 days later, you can't find her on the internet at all.
It's not only you cannot find her in the internet. So even you go back some of the movies she played, her name is gone.
From the movie credits.
Wow.
Yes. So, but that's not. Yeah. But that's not something. That's it usually happen. They have been doing this for quite some years. They will go after you once you become famous if you are not careful. So they. What they do is they say in Chinese they say kill the chicken and threaten the monkey. We used that before. So, but that's more like because she's just one person, right? But if you think about all these right now, the latest the internet tycoon that just quit his CEO. It's the CEO of ByteDance. ByteDance. That's the Chinese TikTok.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
so basically, he quit his CEO position.
Quit is a nice term for being forced out.
That's right.
Forced out.
Yeah, and also think about a few years ago, Jack Ma did the same thing.
Yeah, this is the guy that owned Alibaba.
That's right.
Yes.
And also, in just the last few weeks, there was also a couple more guys make a public announcement that they're going to take less responsibility from their own giant company. One is Tencent.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest Chinese internet giant.
Internet.
Yes.
Right? And also another one is JD.com, the biggest like internet where you sell the stuff.
Like Amazon.
Like Amazon, right? JD.com in China. So make a public announcement. They're going to take less responsibility, and also they donate they donate 18 billion yen to help the poor.
But they're not going to do that now?
They just make an announcement. They're going to do it.
They're going to.
They're going to because the common prosperity thing, right? Because common prosperity, right? All of a sudden, all of a sudden, they just make all of them just quit and then say, "Oh, we're going to donate a lot of money."
You know what came to flashed in my mind right now, you two? Is remember when there's a disaster somewhere and the United States or some other country sends resources somewhere and then it sits on a dock, nobody sends it anywhere. I can only imagine that that's what's going to happen in China.
That's right.
So
you really believe that they will donate to the poor people?
well, we don't know. Well,
She
basically,
raised
they
doubt
donate to
about
the
it.
government. That's what we know. They're not
Yeah,
going to
now
give to the poor people.
Well,
the government is going to take the money.
Yeah, we
right?
certainly don't know
Yeah.
even if they get the donation, whether it's going to be redistributed or not.
Yeah.
Now, think about why Jack Ma quit his CEO position from Alibaba. Do you remember?
I do remember, and I remember reading the story, and I got the impression, and I could be way wrong, but I got the impression from the story I read that he feared for his family's existence and his own life if he did not step down.
See, all they need to do is send someone and come to your office and talk to you, right? Talk to you, and then you have a choice, basically. I mean, you have a friend, you have a family that you need to take care of, or if you don't listen to them, if you don't do what they want you to do, you have...
Yeah, it's the mafia.
Yeah.
I said this before.
Yeah.
It's just like the mafia.
Right.
We have an offer you can't refuse.
And then, well, it's not really they offer you something can refuse. The only offer is you're going to be alive.
Well, yeah, but that was the way that when they made the movie The Godfather, that was the line that became famous worldwide. I'm going to make you an offer you cannot refuse.
So basically, try to remember what happened to Jack Ma. Okay, the story was, try to compare what happened to him to you're going to
Elon Musk.
Clearly to see what's happening to all these CEOs. They're quitting right now in China, right?
Yes, they are.
So back in 2016 and 2017, we talked about this before. It's like China started so-called mixed reform.
Mm-hmm.
The mixed reform basically it's to invite all these big technology companies.
Investment.
Invite them to invest to the public-owned industries or operations.
Correct.
Right? They say, well, when you invest to these government-owned entities like industries, like railroads, right? They lose big time, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to be able to help all these industries to improve, to be more efficient, while at the same time you participate, the government, right?
Right.
So what the way they did it was they're going to basically say they're going to sell the shares to these internet giant tycoons, right? Like Jack Ma or whoever, right?
Sure.
They're going to sell them the shares of these public entities like railroads, the oil companies that's losing money, right? Or the construction companies. But except there's three things over there. Number one, you cannot say no. You don't want to buy it. You cannot say you're not going to invest. You only have one choice. You have to buy it.
I'm going to make you an offer you cannot refuse.
Cannot refuse.
Number two, they decide the share price. Number three, they decide how many shares you're going to buy. Right? So that's how the mixed reform started. And all these internet companies in China, in technology companies, they all got into this. They all have to basically donations, right? Right.
Once again, we're going to make you the offer you can't refuse.
Right. So now. You know why they immediately get it? All these people. Say, think about if they come to talk to Elon Musk. You think Elon Musk is going to get it? No, right? Because they never experienced. But however, in China, they already happened once in 1956.
It happened. I think on smaller scale, it happened a lot more than that. On the local scale, where the local magistrate says, "Look, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm kicking you out of your house."
Right, but most of the people.
What, Amy?
Actually, it's happened to another part of the world, American investment, American companies, and they nationalized a lot, but they're a small scale.
Yeah.
We're talking about this China, a big, giant scale. So, I think the United States corporation never, ever invest that kind of money there. They and you remember before in South America, some countries, they nationalized or take over, Argentina.
I can tell you it happened in Mexico. They Pemex took over, I believe it was either Standard Oil or Chevron. All the filling stations became Pemex overnight. They nationalized the oil companies. Yeah.
Yeah, in China, it actually happened back in 1956. It happened nationwide. Just they take, all of a sudden, just overnight, they make an announcement. They take all the private business away from the private owners, and they say, well, once they're not going to take it for free, they're buying from you. So they say, they take over the operation. And then you become the investor, right? Just like right now, right? What's happening, right? You become an investor. And then what they're going to do is they're going to take 5% of interest for whatever your investment is for 20 years. 20 years, and you think about it, 100%, wow. Yeah, that's 100% paid back, but, your business is gone. Right, 5%. Even you put your money into the bank in those years, and your
5% is nothing.
It's nothing, right? Yeah. But that's what they say, and they don't ask for permission. They just go take it. If you
have to go.
Right.
You cannot against. They will immediately put you in jail or even execute you. And that's why they took away my father's business, and then they say that it pay you 20 years. Issue that things, it's like a bond, right? So we're gonna pay you. This Cultural Revolution right off everything. Good thing you're still alive. Didn't kill you.
Don Corleone.
See, it's just one lie after another. See, they say they're going to pay you 20 years or 5% each year, but less than 10 years later.
Don Corleone.
It's a cultural revolution, right?
Yeah.
You're lucky. You're still alive.
It's the mafia, except it's a country.
So right now it's happening again. Now under the same slogan, common prosperity. That's the same slogan they used back in 1956. Now it comes back.
I have another way to universal poverty. Anyway, we got a call from Dick, one of our regular listeners. Dick, you're on KSCO. Thanks for calling.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I sent Michael Olson a couple things last week about China. He's not there today, right?
No, he's not.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to bring up a couple things that are developing. John Kerry was at a climate change review with the Chinese very recently. Did you see any of that?
I did not. Did you not?
Yeah, I saw.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Second time now you ran it back. Yeah.
Amy, do you know when that happened? When he was there?
I know this recently, and they say the second time I went back, they treat him as a real VIP. So that means some kind of deal is going on, and so that's why he went back again.
Oh, well, the second time he went back, they were completely insulted because of the report that came out on the origins of the origins of COVID. The report had not come out yet, and since then it has come out that it's inconclusive, which is a joke. And since then, let me see. So basically, they said they wouldn't talk to John Kerry about this climate change stuff or anything else until the United States clears up that investigation. So you guys didn't see that, huh?
No. As I know, it's something more little inside that they're talking about that he was also representing Biden family. So that was the thing, is the negotiation powers and Chinese hold. So, that's why they sent him back again. And then see how does the, Hunter Biden, how does the Biden family and the corruption scandals with the Chinese government, they hold that. So Kerry, basically is representing him to go back to, not wanted to,
They dismissed Kerry, basically, over the thing. Yeah, it's a joke. It is a joke, like you say. The other thing that happened this week was the Chinese media, a Chinese state media document came out on the 21st of August, just last month, and basically it was saying, it directly said that the United States, here I got a couple quotes from the document, the U.S. is engaging in biological warfare against China. War and space wars launched through the fifth column by the big capitalists and the anti-imperialist on China. They also said that America was responsible for the loss of strong masculine vibes in their men in China, and they said strong masculine vibes, and also they're basically declaring war on the United States in this document. You guys should. I gave Michael Olson a link to it.
Dick, don't you find that they're talking out of both sides of their mouth? We're helping them with their research in the Wuhan Lab and in the Wuhan University, lots and lots and lots of money, and yet they're sort of picking a fight with us.
Now, Billy, what you just said, they're arguing right now. I mean, Fauci has told Senator Paul that he's a liar over and over again about what you just said. So he's denying any monies to the Wuhan Lab. Isn't that what you guys understand? Fauci is denying it?
Well, Fauci may be denying it, but there's a money trail.
Yeah, it is. There is. And Paul is calling for all kinds of investigations and he should step down from his job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing. You hear nothing in mainstream media about. Yeah, just stop for one moment, everybody out there that is concerned about COVID. Just stop and think for 1 second. Here is the guy that sent hundreds and thousands of millions, I don't know how much, to the Wuhan Lab directly to enhance and weaponize. So that this virus is weaponized to spread among humans. Period.
Well,
that was the gain of function.
Dick, it could be argued that they spent the money to do the gain of function, but not as a weapon, but as to try to fight it if it got stronger in nature. That's the other, the company line, the other side.
Wow. Yeah, sure.
Well, no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying there is another line of rhetoric.
Right. Yeah, I know they'll say anything, Bill. I mean, you had other Chinese virologists on already saying there's so many scientific reasons, for this to be a man-made. We all, I'm just taking that. I'm going with them on this, and I'm going with Senator Paul on this. But what I'm trying to explain or demonstrate is that what's going on in the world today, one of our main healthcare czars is Fauci, right?
Right.
And he might be he is.
Yeah.
It sounds like that he's directly responsible for the enhancement, and who knows, how
I don't. There's the idea that we'll never know. Dick, I'm out of time. We're already at the end of the hour. I just looked up at the clock. We got to go. I gotta pay some bills here. But we appreciate the call. Thanks for calling, and I think we're gonna have a good second hour. So keep listening. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Satisfy your hunger with a fresh, prepared, twice-daily grab-and-go sushi you'll find waiting for you at Sushi Market Sprouts, 2 blocks from the beach at 300 7th Avenue in Santa Cruz. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
Hello, I'm Junko, and I look forward to serving you at the Sushi Market Sprouts.
If you want to take advantage of today's record prices and sell your home fast without having to pay those crazy real estate commissions, listen to this. David Bartels here with Everhome Realty. Sell your home for under $4,000 and get full service, expert representation, and a 5-star experience from one of America's top 100 real estate agents. We guarantee great results. Call now, 831-278-3233, 831-278-3233, or go to everhome.io to learn more.
Chef Ben here from the Back 9 Grill and Bar at the Pasatiempo exit, sharing with you our family meal. A full rack of ribs, a whole smoked chicken, a pound of pulled pork, and plenty of barbecue sauce, served with a full quart of baked beans, coleslaw, macaroni and cheese, dinner rolls, onions and pickles, including dessert, homemade brownies, and a pint of Marianne's vanilla bean ice cream. Feeds 4 to 6 hungry people, ready in 15 minutes. See you at the 9.
Cami Corvin is the executive producer for the Think Local First radio show. Join Cami each Saturday from 2 to 4 as she hosts what is going on in our community for local businesses and local issues. Think Local First is brought to you by Bruno's Barn Grill in Scotts Valley, Togo's in Scotts Valley, Capitola and Watsonville, Tremonti Italian Restaurant in Santa Cruz, and Kissed by an Angel. Think Local First every Saturday on AM 1080 or KSCO.com.
Hey, this is Dr. Duncan McCall, and I have this amazing patient, Lauren, here, and she had a few things to say.
Hi, I'm Lauren Spencer, a local realtor, and I've been seeing Duncan for years now. I had a biking accident, and he's been adjusting me since then, and it's been amazing. But lately, I've had trouble with my feet, and I'm an avid walker, avid biker, avid golfer, and my feet were aching all the time, and I tried Duncan's TRT machine, which is an amazing stem cell machine that rejuvenates the cells. And my feet, I've had like 3 or 4 sessions with the machine, and my feet are like new. No aches, no pains. It's a miracle. So I really highly recommend Duncan and his chiropractic services, but also that TRT machine. You got to try it.
Wow, thanks, Lauren. That was awesome. So we still have the $49 special. Come on in and see if it works for you. Thank you.
KO here, reminding you to catch your KO Sports Question of the Day on Good Morning Monterey Bay. I'll be with Rosie and Alex at 7:12 and on again at 5:35 with Dave Michaels on Flight 1080. KO Sports is brought to you by the Knox Garden Box. Get off the ground and grow your vegetables, flowers, and ornamentals anywhere you have a little sunshine. KNOXGardenbox.com. That's KnoxGardenbox.com.
Stick around for our second hour. Amy Howe and Nan Su will be here, our experts on China. We'll be talking about what's going on in China, but first we have to bring you up to date. This is KSCO Santa Cruz, Salinas, Monterey. China Über Alles is brought to you in part by Sushi Market Sprouts on 7th in Santa Cruz and Kaito in the Capitol Mall Food Court. Treat yourself to the finest Japanese cuisine you'll find anywhere with fresh sushi to go and delicious ramen dinners. Sushi Market Sprouts and Kaito. Yum! Welcome to the second hour of China Über Alles. I'm Bill Graff here with my regular guests on this program, Nan Su and Amy Howe. We have been talking about, the continuing cultural revolution in communist China. They are eliminating people from the internet. They are asking folks who own companies to step down. That's a nice, polite way of putting it. It's a little like Don Corleone.
I think that the problem is, do you think how much longer they are going to wait before they do this in Hong Kong? Think about it. Say a lot of international corporations in Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now and think about it. There's like Apple and Tesla in China. How long they're going to wait before they do those things to these foreign corporations?
But can I ask you a stupid question, only because I did not grow up in China like you and Amy did. And when I hear Amy's stories, I go, wow, that is hard to believe, but I know it's true. I know it's true because I've read about it in other sources other than Amy. Okay? But do you really think that the CCP would attempt to get rid of, say, Apple in China? Because Apple just makes them a boatload of cash. They're paying the Chinese government a boatload of money.
Well, because you think the priority is money, right? Well, you see, this is the
okay.
See, this is Americans. We are thinking, when we try to judge what's going to happen, the priority is money.
But it's not, right?
But it's not. But it's the ruling power and it's the stability.
But okay, I understand what you are saying, and I understand what Amy says when she talks about the government doesn't care much about certain aspects like its own people, for instance. I find that very hard to believe, but I understand it's true. But let me ask you this: even if money isn't the motivator, China is. There's a lot of other things that China benefits from by having Apple and companies like Apple in China.
Well, first of all, that's why they, in the very beginning, they created this concept in 1981. Okay, they created this concept called China is still in the elementary stage of socialism.
Okay, we talked about this last week.
That's right, because they think, because the Cultural Revolution basically made China's entire economy broke between 66 and 76. So they think, well, how do we get out of this mess?
Outside investment.
Right? Outside investment. That's why they want the companies like Apple, like wherever, Tesla, that go to China. There's tons of private business went to China from Taiwan. They are the first wave, right? They are attracted to it. For them, there's no language barrier. They go there, they start the operation right away, right? Now, but however, that's 40 years ago, 1981, right? So they say, this is their theory. They say, at the elementary stage of socialist practice, the capitalist market economy can serve as a good supplemental to the central plan economy.
Right.
So you never take the center stage. They say, well, at this moment you could be a good supplemental.
Right. But now you're now arguing, and pointed out last week, that you believe that the CCP is now to the point where they don't think they need the supplemental help anymore, and they want to not rely on it, and to say that they're at they're past the elementary stage.
This is the most interesting part to talk about, right? The problem here, the issue, the challenge here is you don't know when and how they're going to announce they're going to end the stage. Could be tomorrow. Well, could be 10 years from now.
Well, are they actually? Wait. Let me ask you something, because I really want to ask Amy about this too. Do you think that what they're doing now by erasing people from the internet who are important, fiscal, businessmen, banking people, stuff, they're just going away? Do you think this is the preliminary thing before the real announcement? Hey, you're done?
Well, think about this. That's what they really, all the propaganda in 1956 before they take away all the private business properties.
Right.
That's what they say.
Like what happened to Amy's father.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. At that time, they say common prosperity. And right now, you look at China's propaganda, it's all about common prosperity. So are they ready to announce tomorrow they are going to end the elementary socialist practice stage?
What do you think, Amy?
I think, my opinion, I think they just right now is prepared for it. Just like a Cultural Revolution, it started in 1966. Actually, the propaganda, everything they talking about, when the stones come in gathering, right? So they take a little while to gathering. And so now they start gathering, all the propagandas, you can tell, we're waiting for that moment.
So this is the thunderstorm before the typhoon?
Yes.
Well, we don't know, right? That's the most scary part. It's you don't know.
Yeah, China, everything they call the dark box, everything they operation and that, so nobody know, what's going on. But the one thing, looks like to me, they shows like a play hardball. Actually, just opposite. They're kind of scary. The reason they want to come on prosperity is they think that they can ease the internal problems. Think about that. You say that, okay, people don't have a housing, they're too expensive, and this, that, for young people, don't have a job, don't have that. So we're going to redistribute it. So make some people happy. At least talk about it. And so, we can hit a couple of birds, and then, just show to them, we're going to do it, right? So make a lot of people, so they're not going to hate the government.
Yeah.
And CCP current. Yeah, they will hate American or hate those people, which was what I call mockingbird.
Yeah, redirect the hate.
Yeah, redirect hate. Always like that means they already know it's something with a volcano is they're sitting on it. So how do you can solve it? One of these is gonna explode, and they can control it. So they have to let it out a little bit. Maybe, just, I believe that because the Cultural Revolution also say, those people have too much power, so all the no authorities, we have to hit the government, which will not belong to Mao, it belongs to Liu Shaoqi, and, hit somebody. And then, some people like it. So right now, I think some people poor, they can't afford the housing, young people have no money, no job, or whatever, so they say they like it. I'm talking about that's going to be a large scale because another step, I'm talking about personal property.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, when I was in China, nobody can have a personal property. And now the people all have their own house, so some have several houses. You give people incentive, so they work hard. So that create the poor and rich, the difference, okay? You work hard mostly, so you're getting rich. And so actually that's one to solve the poverty problem. The more people wanted to work hard because you're being rewarded, right?
But you're being punished. Amy, the other side of that coin is if you offer no reward for hard work, then you end up with...
Not just
you end up with a bunch of country full of...
punishment.
Yeah.
No, still it's a punishment for you have something.
Yeah.
You know, you work hard together. So I'm talking, I have friends that they don't have those bigger political background, you know, but they work hard and they have a little business and they work every day. So they bought some property, and now you can, if you have you only can have one apartment you live. The second apartment you have, and that you wanted to sell, you only can sell the people have a cash. But most people don't, especially young people, they want to borrow money. So they only can borrow money and to buy a new construction, you know. Mm-hmm. And those people probably paid off, you know, they pay off the government so they can get a loan, bank too, you know. They control the bank. So you not able to sell because nobody have that much money cash. And you know what happened? The second step, so the government gonna buy it from you.
Oh, wait!
Yeah.
Now we're going back to Don Corleone. If the government is going to give you the loan, you don't want to have a loan from Don Corleone.
Yeah. So you have so they will buy from you and for the fixed price. Whatever they said. So you sell to them because you cannot sell to other people. And then they give it to resell to the so-called poor people. The young people had no money to buy. So they, okay, see, I'm such a good government, so you have a benefit now. You can have it. But you still have to pay the loan. Of course, not the price they bought from individuals. They make the money.
Yeah.
So why not? So that's the second step. So right now in China, people have a little thing. They have a little business. They have more than one property. So they are so scared.
Wow.
Because a lot of people, you know, and my friend, they are well-to-do. They work hard. They really whole life work hard, you know.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
And
so
remember, we're talking about a country where the same rules apply basically to everybody, and it's over 1 billion people.
That's right. We're talking large. Everything in China is a billion we're talking about. It's no milling, the billion, at least, you know. Yeah, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to chime in on our conversation today, give us a call at 479-1080, 479-1080. We're talking about some very interesting, I guess the word is propaganda that's coming out of China, because I don't believe any of it's real news. It's all how the government spins it for the rest of the planet to see exactly what's going to happen. I think Amy's observations on this are fascinating when you think about what Nan just said a few minutes ago, and then what Amy says about it. You put the two together. Wow, they're going right back to what they know how to do best. It seems to me.
Well, that's what it is. I think that's what's going to happen, because I think, first of all, the Chinese communist regime, they see, originally, think about this, the reason they invented this idea of elementary stage of socialist practice.
Right.
It's they need some sort of foreign investment to help to save their totally broke the economy.
Yeah, they weren't able to take care of their own citizens for a long time.
That's right. So now they really have the social stability issue at that moment, because everyone's just so poor. Basically, they are at the stage like the same stage like Soviet Union before the change took from within. Mm-hmm. Right? It's the same time, because think about this. Tiananmen Square happened in 1989, and the Soviet Union actually dissolved in 1990.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they are in the same situation.
30 years ago, thereabouts.
And think about who saved them. Think about who saved China from that moment on. Think about it.
Right, yeah.
That's George H.W. Bush sent his a national security advisor to Beijing and told the Chinese Communist Party that the United States is not going to do anything. So think about this.
Oh,
and now
my brain starts to hurt when I think about that.
And that's number one. And number two, think about this. Who saved them from all that trouble? They are all totally broke. They are at the same stage as the Soviet Union. As who saved that economy?
We missed our chance.
Also, the Tiananmen Square, this event happened. So lots of foreign investors, they don't want to invest in China. So they are looking at American, then they just say that Bush go there, so save that. And so American do it, so lots of other countries follow because Americans there. So that's all about it. But I don't know, you think our government is naive or what? We thought that they are the puppy dog, so we can feed them and raise them, and they become a good dog. They actually is a wolf. Actually, they become a wolf, and now they have teeth, so they can bite you. I don't think that they can eat us alive. They maybe wanted to. They have the ambition, but at this moment, capability, at least they show you teeth. They can bite you.
So
that's what they're doing right now. Puppy dog become a wolf.
Our little puppy's now a pack of wolves.
It's a wolf, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Well, on that happy note, what do you think's going to happen from this point on? Do you think, look, we've had so many experts on this program. Last week, poor Nan, I thought Nan was going to go home and go into a dark room and stay there for a while. He looked so depressed. But at least today he's smiling. So do we have any control over the future? Can we stop what we see coming?
Well, I think it depends how early we wake up. That's what it really is, Yeah. Have we waken up? There's a lot of people still thinking, doing business with China. Still, there were U.S. officials going to China to ask China to help us to deal with the climate change.
Oh, that story in the news at the Nan and I started to laugh when we were listening to the top of the hour news. They're going to ask China? Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. The country in the world may be the worst polluter of all time.
And then we're giving them the money and think about they're going to help us.
Yeah. With cleaning up the environment. Didn't China just put in all kinds of new power plants that run on coal?
Yeah. And they refuse to clean it. They refuse.
They use dirty coal.
Yeah, they refuse to use clean coal. So, what do you think? Why do we do that? We negotiate, we keep negotiation.
Well, you keep pointing out, though, that China doesn't... they really don't care about money like we do. They care about money... look, they liked our investment early on 40 years ago. They really like that. And now they've amassed a bunch of resources based on dealing with the Western world, obviously. So now they want to turn that off?
Well, I don't know when and how they're going to turn that off, but think about this. This is what happened right now. Comparing with 1956, when China first time took away all the private business, all the properties from
Amy's father.
Yeah. Nowadays, because at that time, the Communist Party just took over control of China. So their ruling power was not that stable. So they basically use their military. They just come in. They take over wherever you own. That's it, done, right? But now they already screw up the society inside of China for 70 years. The people kind of not like that in the 50s. After they they're new, right? They're new government. People still have some sort of hope, meaning it's like a new president, right? The first year come to the office, you still have a lot of political capital spend, right? To spend, right?
Yeah.
But now they don't have that much political capital to spend. But however, they got the entire society under their control now. They have a lot of ways now. Go back to this tycoon. Let me finish this. Go back to all these business tycoon when they quit, right? When they quit, what do you think the guy that replacing them? Do you think that's by arrangement, or it was arranged a long time ago?
Appointed by CCP.
See, this you don't know, right? When they first established this company, I mean, the communist leader know they cannot do all this internet by themselves, right? Now, after the company becomes successful, now when they try to take away this, do you think all these people replacing all these tycoons? Maybe not yet. Maybe the next one on the line will be. So there was a lot of ways they can do it nowadays other than in the 50s they would just send the military to take over. Right? Nowadays they have a lot of ways to do it quietly.
What you're talking about, jump in, Amy, if I'm wrong on this, but I'm wondering, here's what I'm wondering. Because some people in China who had no opportunity before Western investment came in, now they've got a taste of what it's like to have something. Particularly the younger generations, they know what it's like if they've worked hard to buy a motorcycle, for instance, so they can get to work easier, or they can scrape together some money and buy a house, just like we do in the Western world. Do you think that with this change that we're talking about today, do you think they're going to lose all incentive and it's going to backfire on the government?
Well, I think nowadays there's a lot of the ways they can do it. Think about this. They do it in many other ways. See, the key here is they don't care if you are just one rich person. These business tycoons, right? Think about it. They're not really care about how much money you have. They care about how to use all this business to help the stability of their ruling power. That's the key. So if you say you have this successful business, right? Like a Tencent, like Alibaba, they just want to take away those things from you. So once you retire, you have a bunch of money. What are you going to do? I mean, you're still in the country, right? They can control you, or even you leave the country. That's better. Just let you go. But the key here is they want that business, right? That's the key. So because think about this, the challenge they're thinking that all this business, Alibaba and Tencent, they are big media that really challenge the state-owned media's dominant power, right? And all and all these internet companies and like ByteDance, like DD, right? What do they have? They control tons of private information which government wanted. See, they want all this. This is the power. They don't care if you are just one person. You have a lot of money. So what? You can live your life. How much are you going to spend? I mean, you build a couple houses. That's it, right? So that's what they worry about. That's why. So they're worrying about control, basically. That's right. Dominate. Yeah, when Jack Ma tried to nominate, tried to launch the financial service. The IPO was stopped. But think about why did they worry? It's a financial. You challenge their banking system now. No, I understand what you're saying, but what happened to Amy's father is what I keep going back to that because it's a great illustration. If they do that to enough people like Amy's father, then does the country lose incentive to build another Jack Ma?
Yeah, sooner or later, I think so, because why should the people work hard? Yeah, because you took away and people's incentive, human being, human nature, you had to have an incentive. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Just nobody want to do anything. They did it before, But I want to ask Billy and the Nang a question. So if the American corporation keep on doing business with China because there's lots of money they can make, so you think in our lifetime, and we will see a CCP asking Force and Tim Cook or Zuckerberg and to step down? You think we will see that day?
I'm totally biased, right? And I grew up in the Western world with the Western mentality, so I'm still having trouble seeing that kind of control being wielded in the United States. But in all honesty, China, I think it's 15% of our debt, if I'm not mistaken, is owned by China now. I think that's the number. It's either 15 or 12% of our national debt. Billions of dollars. I hope we never get to the point where China can say to Elon Musk or somebody like him, go away now. I hope not. But
you think it sounds like our lifetime we'll see that. Well,
I'm in my lifetime. In my lifetime, maybe I'm now 64, so it's entirely possible that it may happen in my lifetime. That's about I don't know, if I'm lucky, 35 more years. But it's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. Boy, we have such an uplifting program going on today, don't we?
Well,
but this is part of why we do this program. We want to talk about the hard realities of what is going on. Look, if you have a choice, I've said this many times, I know Nan has too, and so has Amy, if you have a choice, buy something made somewhere else than China. Look, we have right now, there are entire assembly lines of American-made cars not producing anything right now because they don't have the chips to run the electronics in the car. They can't make them fast enough. And one of the leading places where they make chips now, are you ready? Taiwan. And Taiwan is a place that China is very much looking toward trying to bring back into the fold, so to speak. So I find that situation very interesting. It interests me a lot because, as you know, I'm a tech guy, and I know China wants to get a hold of those chip factories. Boy, wow. So I hope we can sort it out. Our governments around the world, not just us, but we worry about. It's not only the United States; it's Australia, and Europe, and South America. They're all dealing, and of course, there's the ever-present Afghanistan, where all of these countries are being influenced and possibly infiltrated by the Communist government of China.
See, the problem is just look at the Afghanistan withdrawal. I don't think we actually really, our government really see the big picture of China. It's coming to challenge Americans' dominant power in the world. I don't see that actually we are prepared for that. I don't see we actually care if China will take control. See, do we care? I mean, it's kind of interesting. I mean, just look at it. Look at the facts. I mean, when they planned with our troops withdraw from Afghanistan, did they actually think about China? Did they actually think about China is going to gain from Afghanistan? I mean, did they actually think about this? I mean, I don't see it. I
don't think they did.
That's the problem. See, that's the problem.
I don't think they care.
Yeah, not only our corporations, they're going to China after money, but our government don't even think about, the way that we do things in the international society. It's going to, how China is going to gain, and how much our own actions it's going to make us lose to China. So therefore, our next generation's lifestyle will be in danger.
Well, I think you'll both agree, we have a track record of not thinking things through. Let me just ask a really old question now. Why would you give up control of the Panama Canal? Now, here's what's happened. Seriously, here's what's happened. We gave up control of the Panama Canal, right?
Yep.
And the resulting control of that entity resulted in what's happening now. China is building its own Panama Canal, able to handle bigger ships and able to outperform the original Panama Canal. Yeah. Now, think about it for a minute. Why didn't somebody think ahead a little bit and go, wait a minute, if we keep control of the Panama Canal, we keep control of that isthmus where they're now digging a new canal. If we just done it differently, we would have prevented China from moving into that area. But we did. But okay, our board just came back. Came back just now? Okay, I say that again because we were not on.
No, everyone. I think the most important thing is we need to come to realize that our money, investment, and technology to China and our market here in the United States, that we think it's the greatest thing for China. Those things will never be able to change the nature of CCP.
Yeah, well, God, I hope you're wrong. I really do. Let's talk to John in Soquel. John, you're on KSCO. Thanks for waiting.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for your program. It's very informative. I'm wondering whether, I kind of missed a lot of the show, but I'm wondering if China has enough domestic stability and a growing economy, growing middle class, etc., that they can be almost self-supporting and won't even need the U.S. marketplace to because they're so strategic in gaining control over resources in the world that they can expand their markets elsewhere. I imagine they'd still need us to some extent, but to a lesser and lesser extent as time passes. And if they're able to take control of Taiwan and some of the production there, which is very essential to our economy, they're just going to take over.
Yes, I think you just hit the right point. That's why I have been talking for many. I have been talking to many people. See, the reason the Chinese government have been in this all-out war ever since the U.S. troops withdraw from Afghanistan. They have in this all-out war. They basically try to make that China it's an international leader. The leadership image, that's very important for China because China already realized that in the next 30 years, they will not be able to rely on the Western world for the technology, market, and investment, like what they did in the last 20 years. They would not be able to steal one industry after another industry from us in the next 30 years, like what they did in the last 20 years. So they already start building their own international system. Those systems consist of the countries in the Southeast Asia. Now, Southeast Asia already the biggest trading partner of China, replacing European Union already. And then those,
really?
China's the biggest trading partner. It's not European Union anymore.
And also, John, did you know that China is building its own version of the Internet?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big thing. Yes.
Yeah, and also the countries in the South America, Central Asia, and also African countries. So these countries, and that's what the Belt and Road project is for. They are using their economic power to infiltrate these countries. And then once these countries have China to install the technology, the internet, the information system for these countries, just like what China did for North Korea, China will have complete control, a more effective control than KGB in the olden days when, that's how the Soviet Union controlled those Eastern European socialist countries. So all this technology has a backdoor. So
yes.
And now, another thing is, they're not only, the scary part is they're not only doing these things in those developing countries, they're also doing these things in the United States and Western world. Think about this. Now, China, although the government banned their children from using the games, play computer games.
Right.
But I'm not sure if you try to read the news, try to do the search. In the last year, China has been the biggest buyer of the game companies. In the United States, they're buying all the games. They're all these things like they're going to influence our children by designing all these.
I can still hear you.
Oh, you can still hear us. Okay, good. Well, then, one thing I was going to say is this: if you know anything about the video games that we're running now, it's basically a training session for how to, like if you're Mortal Kombat, for instance, is a training session on how to fly drones and airplanes. There's all kind of games that later on in life, can serve as because that's how they fly drones. They basically use a computer screen and they see what's going on. But I mean, it's hand-eye coordination. So if China has control of that sort of thing, all the video games, then they literally have a way to influence the entire world.
Yeah, and then it's scary how they're going to influence our own children.
What, Amy?
It worries me that the Biden administration does not see a hazard there.
Exactly.
Yeah, may I say something?
Yes.
From a historical point to look at China's domination to other world, actually, historically, they never able to do it. They never did. Interesting enough, because China is a landlocked country, so very short the shoreline seas. And so basically they pretty much keep in for themselves. And also China is a very strange country. You're talking about the domination or something. I'm talking about in history, people use the religion to dominate the world, colonization, all kinds of things. They never did anything like that. Because in China, religion never played a role.
Okay, yeah, well, first of all,
changing,
No, first of all, go ahead, finish it.
I'm talking about, interesting enough, is that even now, we're talking about China infiltrated to this, that, what kind of spiritual culture things they try to spread. As I know, is basically they copy lots of even radio games, and
here.
We cannot, talking about the Chinese origin, most population is Han, Han nationality. But the lockdown state is from Manchuria. They coming in, they occupy small, portion of people coming in, and either the entire country occupied. But afterwards, they all become Chinese.
Okay.
So they really,
hold on.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to say I completely disagree with you, Amy. Okay, this is not. It's a totally inappropriate comparison. You are comparing the history of China with today's communist regime. Now, today's communist regime, they are not built based on any part of traditional.
They're not what? Say that again. They're not.
They are not built based on any part of the history of China, of the tradition, of the culture. This is the Communist Party. They originally from Karl Marx, who was a German. To export revolution, to export revolution all around the world. That's what they believe. This is what the communist countries do. Even the North Korea and Cuba, this kind of communist countries, you think they're isolated. They're not try to isolate themselves. That's not what they intend. They are not capable of, exporting revolution. So today,
I not agree.
So the communist regime today cannot be compared. I think that's the common mistake for Americans, for the people living on the West, to really try to think China, compare China today with the historical China in the old time. You cannot do that because this is the communist country.
No. I don't agree with that. I don't believe Mao believe any Marxism or anything. Basically, that revolution, so-called, actually still is farmers' revolution, just like before. And then you cannot cut it off because still same Chinese people live there. Even though it doesn't matter if communists try to suppress them, brainwash them, but they value everything. The languages they speak, whatever, still continuing. They're still Chinese. You cannot say they're no longer Chinese.
Okay, let me explain that. No, let me explain that.
People made the country. People made country, not the party.
Well, people live in the culture. And what's the bottom line of a culture? The bottom line of the culture is the faith.
No.
It's the faith. No. It's what you believe really make the bottom line of the culture.
Hang on.
But now you have to separate people and government. Chinese people still Chinese people. CCP is a ruler and people is a different thing.
Well, so see, here is the key. Here is the key. I think you totally missed. In the last 70 years, under the rule of Chinese Communist Party, the culture in China has completely changed. There used to be a culture that's based on the belief of Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. Now it's based on the belief of communism. So you can't...
No, that's not true. That's not true.
See, in the old... That's why...
My generation...
I never thought I would say...
They don't believe it's communism. They don't.
I never thought I would say this to you two. Let's agree to disagree on this one point. No, you know why? This is the discussion. This is the root of the discussion that we started the program with, if you'll remember. Because here, let me remind...
Amy,
let me finish.
Okay,
let me
remind... finish first, then I will say it. Amy, let you finish first, and then I will say it.
I'll finish. When we start the program, we had to separate the Chinese people and Chinese government. So
Correct.
That's the principle we talk about China, okay? I finish.
That's what I was about to say.
Okay, now let me... Good. Are you done?
Yeah, we're all done.
Now, see, if you go to China, okay, in the old... See, people make a mistake when they compare. They say, well, Chinese communist regime, it's just like emperor, right? That's why they label Xi Jinping as an emperor, right? That's really try to beautify Xi Jinping. What you don't realize is you are trying to beautify Xi Jinping. In the Asian China, emperor believe heaven. Now, maybe not a Christian heaven, but the Taoist heaven. So, in the old culture, there is a moral standard above the emperor, above the olden day government. But in today's China, the communism, they don't believe heaven, any form of heaven. So therefore, there is no any.
What we've got there just came back. What we've got going on is we have the Chinese government in control of all aspects of society. But I think Amy's right because no matter how hard the government pushes on the people, there are still the basic human rights things that we all fight for. Even the proof is the Uyghurs. People in China who know about the Uyghurs fight to help the Uyghurs. They don't, you know what I'm saying?
Well, okay. Mm-hmm. First, I think that's.
I think you're both right. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think first of all, it's the key. It's you don't compare today's China with traditional China
500 years ago.
500 years ago, I mean even 200 years ago, because it's rooted completely on a different culture. Culture. Well. And the trunk of the tree, and the main part of the tree, it's the value, like freedom and equality here in the United States. And in the traditional Chinese culture, it's like
is a tree.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
She makes a good point.
Yeah,
it's still a tree.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish. I haven't finished yet. Okay, so and then you wait, and then below at the bottom, the root of the tree, it's the philosophy. Like us, we have the piece of paper, the Constitution.
That's right.
And then below the roots, that's your face. And here in the United States, it starts from the Christianity, right?
Faith.
But in China, it was started from the Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism.
Sure.
Now, what Chinese Communist Party did in China is they relocate the tree from its original. That's why in the past, the Western government, they so many times misjudged today's China.
Okay, look, we have to stop the discussion right here because I think you're both right, and also it's the end of the show here. I got to play the last commercial break before we go away. We have been having some issues with the sound. We're trying to figure that out. And
we're sorry, we have some technical difficulties.
Yeah,
today.
There's something going on with how the sound is going out, but we're working on that right now, and we'll take this final break.
Sushi you'll find waiting for you at Kaito. Easy in and out location in the Capitola Mall food court. Special orders welcome. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
This is Koji. I'm looking forward to seeing you at my restaurant, Kaito.
You take steps to stay healthy when at the pharmacy picking up vitamins or filling a prescription.
May I help you?
Take another healthy step right now and ask the pharmacist how Prevnar 13 can help protect you from pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease. If you're 65 or older, a trip to the pharmacy is a lot more pleasant than a trip to the hospital because of pneumococcal pneumonia. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13 valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Stop by the pharmacy today and ask about Prevnar 13. Learn more at Prevnar13.com. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com.
If you want to take advantage of today's record prices and sell your home fast without having to pay those crazy real estate commissions, listen to this. David Bartels here with Everhome Realty. Sell your home for under $4,000 and get
You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz, AM 1340 KOMY, La Selva Beach, Watsonville.